You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AfterBuzz TV's Orange is the New Black After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Orange is the New Black After Show.
The animal, it's trap, 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 till the cage is full. The cage is full, today is new, and everyone's waiting on you. You've got time.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, After Buzzers, and welcome to another exciting after show of Netflix original series, Orange is the New Black, episode 7, entitled Comic Sans. I'm your host, Thaddeus Massey, and joining me today is...
Hey, what's up? It's me, Megan Thomas.
Hey guys, Emma Kay.
Hey, it's Scott Moore.
Yeah, so this episode, we finally get to see the backstory of Black Cindy. We also get to see V's operation like in full swing or whatever. And I think at this point we could safely call her a villain and say V is for villain. And we could see also this this tug of war for Gloria's loyalties between Red and V. And amongst a couple other things that we'll talk about. But let's discuss this backstory of the week. Black Cindy. Black Cindy, Black Cindy, Black Cindy, Black Cindy.
I could tell she was a TSA agent. I'm just saying.
Oh, my God.
And when I saw her, I was like, it fits.
It fits. It did.
Black Cindy, I've seen Black Cindy at TSA
Yeah, they're
before.
exactly
A couple of times.
At LAX.
Just saying.
to all the TSA agents that are actually out there that actually do a really good job at what they do and upholding the law and making sure that we're all safe out there. We're sorry about this depiction of what you guys actually do and what your position is, because we know that it's a serious position. You guys actually keep us safe and blah, blah, blah. Black Cindy didn't do that. Black Cindy is janky. She's really, she's not following anything by the book, obviously.
She felt that guy up so
I know.
I felt so bad for him.
So shady.
Well, aside from that, stealing all the belongings from the suitcases. I mean, I know it happens.
It does happen, yeah. And
But,
that's a big thing that just happened in LAX recently.
You know, I guess, yeah. But the extreme, that they go, she said she had like 12 or something of the play toys that she already had.
Yeah, the little...
That's disgusting.
And she was like,
So
she was like, oh no, once you get the chug on that, it's no good.
Oh
or
my
something like that.
gosh! Why would you take anyone's
a
sex
used
toy? That's
sex toy.
disgusting.
I mean, there's ways
Exactly.
of sterilizing, isn't there?
It doesn't
doesn't
matter. It's still
matter. They're not.
used. It's exactly.
You don't know who this person is.
And you don't know what they were doing with it. I'm
Right.
like, no, thank you. No sterilization could ever.
But you know what I thought was hilarious when she took the iPad and didn't erase the pictures
I know,
on
like,
it.
hello.
Oh my
Cindy,
God,
come
yeah.
on now.
Come on. If you're
Come
gonna
on.
steal it, at least take the second to like wipe it.
Right.
know?
Give it to your little sister that has the Asian people's family photos on it. It's not cool.
She's just like an idiot. She's just completely like, it's like she's brain dead or something.
I feel like she just never grew up.
No, she
Right.
didn't.
She's still living in her teen years, and she's living life by the day, and she never really took responsibility
Right,
for
right.
anything. And
Exactly.
we could see she didn't take responsibility for even the big,
Her sister daughter.
Yeah, her
I
sister
was like,
daughter.
how do I put this? Her sister daughter, yeah.
I kind of figured that was her daughter too.
I figured it
From
right
the
away.
beginning.
When we
Right,
first
right.
met her, I just assumed it was her daughter. And
Yeah.
then when they said sister, and then I was like looking at Black Cindy's mom, I was like, wait, what? Wait, no, this doesn't add up.
Right.
And so, it totally
I
made
didn't.
sense.
I just
I
thought
did.
she was just irresponsible. Just irresponsible. I mean, she's completely irresponsible.
Yeah.
And just her whole like demeanor, how she behaves, how she talks. It's like she's just ignorant to be ignorant. It's like she doesn't want to grow up. She's a straight Toys R Us kid. It's ridiculous.
Right, and like you were saying, like not taking responsibility. It's exactly what it is. She wanted to go out and hang out with everybody and not take her job seriously. Like she's totally just in it for herself right now and just being a kid.
But I think V makes a good point when she says the reason why she's like that is because she has no hope for tomorrow. And so if you don't look to the future,
then what's the point?
Exactly.
You
Why
live
take
in a
responsibility?
Exactly.
Just,
I mean, but it makes sense, you know.
Yeah.
If you
Also-
don't see a future for yourself as a mom, why take care of your kid?
Right.
And if your mom's taking care of her, then you have even less
Even
Well,
pressure
she
to
was-
want to do
right.
anything.
She was given the option to, take her daughter
Right.
and go take care of her. She chose not to. Even
Right.
at the, airport when she was asked if she has a kid of her own, she completely, said no.
Well, that's the
Right.
reality check right there. I mean, are you gonna pick her
Right.
from school every day? Are you gonna help her with her homework? Are you gonna clean up after her when she's sick and wipe up the vomit and all this stuff? That was like reality smacking her in the face,
Right.
and that's her mama telling her. So like, it's like when your parent knows you so well and they
Right.
say something to you, it's like a gut check, and it's like you can't help but face reality. And then she just broke down. Like she wanted to be all tough at first, and she wanted to say that's why she likes me more than you. And I was like, really? Like, shut up.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? That's something a kid would say.
Exactly.
It's like a spoiled little teenager or something like that.
And
but,
playing favorites because she gets her stuff.
right.
You know, it's
And
easy. Like
gets
her
her
mom was
stolen
saying,
stuff.
yeah, gets her stolen stuff, but still, she's the one that kind of swoops in, gives her the gifts and the toys, takes her out,
Right.
and then drops her off and goes on again. So yeah, of course, you'd be like
And
the favorite
it
when
sings
you're doing
dirty
that.
rap lyrics with her in the
Yeah.
car.
Oh my
I
god.
know.
instead of the cool sister, she's a really like whack mom, which is really. I was like, oh, she's a cool sister, but no, she turned out to be a really whack mom. I was like, oh man, this is
Right.
bad. She leaves the kid in the car, and God knows what neighborhood.
Right.
Even the daughter's like, oh yeah, he got out like a month ago. Like she
Yeah,
knows that
I
these
know.
guys are like questionable. Who are
Right.
these people that she's hanging
Yeah.
out with? Then she's like, she obviously doesn't see her all the time. Leaves her in the car. I'm like, oh, I'll be in there for 10 minutes. Well, maybe 20. Just don't.
Yeah.
Like what?
I know, even
Who
if that
does
was her
that?
sister, it's still terrible.
You
Like,
still-
leave, yeah,
exactly.
leave them just sitting in the
Exactly.
car like that?
Right.
That's crazy. And then,
She goes
again,
to
being
hang out.
irresponsible.
Unbelievable. And so
Like her mom says, smelling like pot and everything. Like, you can't just go and, like, take off and leave your kid in the car like that.
Right.
what's funny is how she says she comes back smelling like pot. She says, I didn't give her any. You think I'm psycho? Like, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you are.
It's like not the point.
Right.
But
point
the
is-
secondhand inhale is just as bad. Like if she's coming back
Exactly.
smelling like pot, this poor baby was probably sitting there in the house. She probably
Yeah.
ended up staying in
Giving
that
her
house
contact
for hours.
high.
Like, let me go get my sister to come up here. She's in the car. Poor baby.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that was horrible. But just segueing into V a little bit, I mean, V comes and she tells her, gives her that reality check, pretty much like why you're in here. The one thing I don't like, and I was going to mention to you guys off camera, but I decided to save it for everybody, is that they kind of left a couple of the backstories where we're assuming what they did, or we can see character flaws in them that
Right.
probably led to whatever crime they committed to get them
Right.
locked up. But I would actually like to see what they actually did to get
Right,
locked up,
me
because
too.
I know all the fans are, we're fans, of course, and we're just all assuming and trying to surmise what did this person, what did Crazy Eyes do, what did Black Cindy do, like what did these inmates do to actually get
Right. What was
locked
the thing
up
that
where
they
they're
got
at?
caught? Especially
What was
when we
the
saw
actual thing?
Morello's backstory and saw it was something completely different than what we assumed
Right.
it was the whole time.
Exactly.
But
So,
I have a feeling Black Cindy's is exactly what we think.
Yeah.
I mean, she works at TSA. There's only so long. I mean, there's cameras everywhere. So I think eventually her thieving,
yeah.
she got caught.
got caught, yeah.
She probably stole something very huge from someone's suitcase. So I think for her, I don't really mind if we don't know her for real story of why she got locked up. But I think there is a story for Poussey that I would like to know
Yeah.
why she got
Crazy
locked
Eyes.
up.
And
Crazy,
Crazy
eyes,
Eyes.
for sure. Yeah.
agree.
Yeah, well, we shall see.
Well, even like Red, you want to know why she's in there. And
But I thought we kind of got that first season.
We
Wasn't
did.
that? Yeah. Wasn't that the
But
best
it's
part?
a little
vague.
bit. It is
Yeah.
vague. We
Okay.
got a little
Vague.
bit, a little taste.
Yeah.
Got a little taste. Speaking of a little taste, Tasty is running around with she's selling the contraband tobacco.
Tampons.
She get yes, she
So
gets
she is so cast under V spell.
she
Yeah.
well, I think Tasty is. I don't really think she's cast under her spell. I think it's more of like a street code kind of thing. It's like,
Right.
okay, she looked out for me. I owe her. She tried to make amends. So okay, I'm gonna give her an opportunity to play the role that she's supposed to play, which is the mom / leader. I'm gonna give her that opportunity. But Tasty has always been an independent thinker, at least as far
Yeah.
as I'm concerned. She has always been
I
independent,
feel like
and
her
she has history with
judgment
this.
has been clouded.
I do too. I agree
since
with you.
V's
Oh, most
been-
I think
definitely.
she's under her and this was the first episode where V's just now getting annoying to me, where it's like I feel like she has to be stopped because just her manipulating
must
way.
be
She must be stopped. Well, it just is because even when she was manipulating Black Cindy, she knew exactly what to say to, like,
Right.
just everything about her now is just annoying me.
Right.
But what's annoying is that
like,
she's evil and she's right.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm annoyed by it. It's like that's why I'm like she's got to be stopped because I'm like almost tired of her manipulating everybody so well and just her and her feud and with
I just
Red,
feel
it's
like
just annoying now.
the facility, like jail for some of these girls or most of these girls, is like daycare. Like they need to go through this to grow up.
Right.
And they haven't hit reality and they haven't faced the growing pains. And every single one of them, the backstory that we're getting and what they're experiencing in here, including Piper, they're completely different than the backstory that you get over however many months or years they've been in here. So even though I don't like V, I feel like she's playing a part in making these girls grow up.
Everyone's development.
And and that's what I'll say about V. The more I watch her, the more I do not like her. She's a great actress, though. Lauren
Oh,
Stark.
she's
Love her.
amazing.
But what I'll say is I like the fact that for these girls, she's doing something for them that nobody else has done.
Yeah.
While they've been locked up, they've just been doing time. They haven't really been thinking about a future, trying to be better. Maybe Tasty has, but other than her, everybody else is just living.
Right.
And they're not trying to live well. They're just living. And so I think for her, she gives them something to think about. She says, at the very beginning, she was talking when they're rolling the cigarettes. She says to them, it's about making more of yourselves because they don't think about that. And so sometimes it takes somebody to go, you know what, you are worth something. Why don't you figure out what it is that you're supposed to be doing in life? What are you good at? You know what I mean?
And kind of calls you out on it and then let you get away with it. Oh, of course she's taking her 90%.
Right.
but
She has to pay somebody on the
I
outside.
know.
right?
It's just funny. It's
Whoever's
like
shipping
I'm
that
assuming
stuff
the
in.
risk.
Right, which is
What?
true.
But I mean,
know,
she
but I
has,
was like,
but, even as evil as she is, she's helping people. Like, for example, she's helping Suzanne. Like, Suzanne, you're not a saleswoman,
Yeah.
okay? There's
That
some
was
things
funny.
about you that people don't want to buy stuff from you.
That's
You're
not your strength.
Right.
Yeah, that
And
was
so
funny.
in a way, she's helping these girls.
Right.
And, as weird and twisted and manipulative as it is, she's doing them a
Well,
service.
even Watson, has the business mentality now.
Right.
Before she wasn't. She was just completely, in competition, running, athletics. So now she's actually thinking and doing numbers, which is different.
Right.
Well, what's funny about this also is on the flip side, you have Healy, who's supposed to be like the counselor, and then V, in like a diabolical way, is more of a counselor than he is.
Absolutely.
Which is really weird
Right.
because
It is.
if you think about how
Street counseling.
she's right, how she snuck up on Black Cindy in her sleep, all stealth and
I
shit,
know.
and broke her down like
Right.
psychologically,
Yeah.
and then called her a loser, and then she was like, like she had her own epiphany, like, you're a loser, and just
Yeah.
like and walked
And just
away.
walked away.
And walk away. I know. That's what I'm saying. She's so good.
What did you guys
Damn.
think she was going to do when she walked over to Black Cindy's bed?
I don't think she could have done anything.
I wasn't sure
Well,
either though. I was
you
like,
were-
is she
I
gonna
mean,
do something?
I mean, she has the kind of persona that you never know. what's
Right,
gonna happen
exactly.
with
Like
her.
sneaking in like the
So
little
it's
stealth
very-
snake. Like she's
yeah.
gonna do something. And
very
See,
dark
I thought
mirror.
she might smother her. That's why I was like, is she gonna kill Black
Yeah.
Cindy in her
I didn't think she was
sleep?
gonna do that, but I was like, is she gonna do something?
No, she has a power
Physical.
that's way
Right.
more
I-
dangerous than doing something physical, and
Right,
that she
right.
knows,
Right, it's
she knows that
manipulating. It's-
manipulation, the psychological.
It is.
and
It's very
emotional.
powerful.
And that would be a complete turnoff for the rest of the girls to know, she was capable of doing something. It would separate the group. She needs the group to stay together.
Right.
Right.
Of course, she needs that armed force behind her. But it's really interesting how it worked because Black Cindy obviously had a gut check within herself and
Right.
came down to custodial and was like, I'll take my medicine.
I know. I was like, oh
I was
man.
like, wow.
Got her.
It's like,
Exactly,
hey, I deal with
again.
dirty tampons.
That is disgusting.
That
It is disgusting, but hey.
costs nothing.
Hey,
but-
Crazy Eyes has been upgraded now, so
Yeah.
Right. But the crazy
Got a
part
promotion.
is about the stamps.
Right.
So they're
The middle management.
right. So they're
I'm custodial.
right.
Tampon usage for the cigarettes.
It's so gross. So so what I was saying is the stamps that they're collecting for the cigarettes. How much money can you really make off of these by selling them to the outside world?
Right. I
I'm
know.
trying to
Because isn't
figure
a book
this
of
out.
stamps like $740 something like
Yeah,
that?
I'm like, how are you-
$9? I thought they said
Yeah.
9. Did
I
they
think
mention 9?
she did in the
or-
forever, and I get that because people are gonna want the forever stamps. 'cause
Right.
They last forever. But I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, how? Yeah, like
Like how much
they
money
gotta sell
are
them at a discount to be able to make it worth.
It's called prison commerce.
I
Okay,
didn't
but is
understand
it
that
worth
part
it? Like,
either.
okay, so
No.
then I guess she'll.
But she did say the rates were going up, so
Maybe that's what the margin is. Then you
Right, because it was
Right.
true. Like she did say the rates were going up. So if you got the forever stamps and then that would be able to pay a little bit more, and you know that you can
Right,
use them
because
for-
you didn't really pay nothing for these cigarettes. So I'm assuming she'll like mail them to someone, mail them to her connect on the outside, who will then sell these stamps in the street.
Yeah, that was the one thing I didn't know exactly how the stamps would work either. I
think
know.
that was
It's the
the
most hood
only...
thing
If anyone knows out there how you think this whole commerce thing works with the stamps,
Anybody have experience in this? Please give us a call.
I know, because there's a side
Basically,
business I can start now.
Flipping stamps, you know.
Right.
You're
I was
like-
expecting bigger profit in this whole operation,
Yeah.
so it was kind of strange to see, it was going to be only a couple of dollars.
Right, especially because at first I was like, well, they're going to be like, okay, profit-wise, it's like completely... You get a book of stamps, $7 or whatever if you sell it for less $6. But then I thought about, okay, who is paying for the tobacco that's
Right.
coming in? What's the exchange?
Right.
Is it we give you the stamps and you give us the supply, but then that doesn't make
Who's
sense.
shipping tobacco? It's like straight tobacco. too,
Right.
I know.
It's not like
Off the
what-
farm,
right?
tobacco
It's like
farm.
Yeah.
right in the cleaner. I'm like, okay, this is interesting. She's really plugged.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, who's her connect on the outside?
Yeah,
Right.
let us know
Need
what
to
you
meet that
think
guy.
about the
The
connect.
theories and how it
Yes.
works, and
And hit us up on iTunes. Make sure you follow us on iTunes. All you have to do is look for us, AfterBuzz TV. Orange is the new black. Click subscribe. It is absolutely free, and you will always get our podcast. Let us know what you think. Give us some
Exactly.
comments, 5 stars, all that thing, all
And you
that
guys
jazz.
go ahead.
While you guys are online, make sure to get Maria's new book, Every Girl's Guide to Fitness and Diet, and Fitness. Has really great tips for girls and for males as well. So make sure to check it out on Amazon, your local bookstore, if they're still in service still.
Still in
But
stock. Is there any still in stock? Because it's
Yeah.
been selling out. I think it's
check it
almost
out. It has really great tips,
bestseller,
and
right, Scott? Yeah.
yeah, everyone needs it for the summer.
yeah, definitely.
They need to even pass the summer because when hibernation period comes around in the fall and your body stores all that
That's
fat 'cause
right.
it's cold,
You want to be able to.
that's when you really need
That's
it.
right.
Like, so,
What y'all, bears?
You got to be warm for the winter.
right, you be warm for the winter, you insulate more.
Exactly.
So your metabolism slows
And you sleep
down.
more.
Eat
It's
more.
dark.
Okay,
That's when all the
grizzlies
holiday
over
food,
here.
Thanksgiving,
Right.
Christmas, you eat way more.
And it's dark, and you want to sleep.
Exactly. You want to cuddle. Anyway, you guys can also call in here 424. I think it's 253-0504. Is that right, Steven? Yes.
Yeah, you got it right.
424
It's amazing you remember that.
254-0504. You
Remember
guys
those
can call
numbers.
in and give us a call and give us your tips and suggestions. and
Yes.
everything and anything that you guys want to add your 2 cents on. So.
But what about for what we were talking about for Black Cindy and the fact that she now is back under V's spell after V told her she was a loser.
I don't think
And
she's.
then-
Well, go ahead.
And then I was gonna say now Poussey is in the mix.
Poussey's not really in the mix. I don't think Black Cindy's in the mix. These girls are used to all being on one peer. They're used to being in one peer group. They had a system down. They even included Crazy Eyes in their social mix.
Kinda.
They did.
Yeah.
Games.
She was still there at the
little
lunch
bit.
table.
They're all
and-
doing out. Now you got this one person coming in and dictating how they're going to kind of operate and how they're going to do this and how they're going to do that. When they're all independent, no one was kind of dictating anything to anybody. That kind of gets them getting used to. And especially when one of the people that you respect within the group has a past relationship with this person and you don't want to disrespect that person to jeopardize that relationship. It's just a lot of like mess, with this whole scenario. So I don't think they're really...
You don't think Poussey is gonna be in the mix? I think she is.
I mean, they're all somewhat in the mix.
But I mean, as far as like the tobacco operations, because at first, Poussey was like she didn't want to do it, but now
she said she would think about it, but I think she just did that because she's really confused and she has mixed feelings about what's going on. Just like she got advice from Nikki in the library. Like she doesn't really know how to handle the situation.
But she knows what's going on,
Exactly.
and
She
and
knows.
she knows what's going on. That's why I said a couple episodes ago. I still think she's gonna be part of the
Taking down
V's
V.
down empire. Yeah, down
right,
the
but
empire
I
there,
also
somehow.
think just the information that Nikki gave her, which is like, okay, when you were a lesbian in high school and your best friend you really were in love with,
Yeah.
Nikki always knows people's stuff too. Like she
Nikki-
always knows.
She should take Healy's job as counselor. She's
Yeah.
amazing.
Well, that's interesting because remember their whole job thing? It said one of her things should be was like a prison guard or whatever.
That's
So
true.
maybe that's a foresight down the road, like
Right.
what she might do someday.
But I'm saying what she says to Poussey is, I think, very true, which is instead of hating the girl's boyfriend when you find out she's in a relationship, you should embrace that guy.
Yeah.
That's how you still get closer to that girl.
Right, be best
And-
friends
and-
with him, do the things
right.
he likes.
And so that's what I'm saying. That's why I feel like
Ingratiate
Poussey-
yourself in the mix there. Yeah.
Yeah, have a
So
threesome.
Poussey, I think she'll be part of this cigarette operations only
caught
for
that.
that reason.
What would you say?
What did you say?
What did you say?
Nothing.
What
No,
did
now you have to say it again.
Nothing.
You can't say
It was
after.
meant to be subliminal, and I think you guys might have cut it off. So I'll wait for them to make comments later. Anyway, so go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, but I'm just saying.
But I
like-
think she's too smart. She knows the risk that they're taking, and she doesn't want to get caught,
Right.
especially with them. Knowing V would just, stand back and say, she had nothing to do with it. So
But I think it's
she
just the
might
love
play.
factor.
She might play V to
The
think that
feels.
she's in
right,
the mix,
right.
Right.
just to get close to Tasty again. But I don't.
That's
think,
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's
Right.
like, the game, but it's like, I love this person so much. I want
And she
her to
might-
think. I want her to. I don't want to cause friction with the person I love. So I'm gonna do this.
Yeah, I'll play
only
the game.
Right, exactly. So she knows it's a game, and she knows that V's up to no good. But I think she's gonna do this just so she can get back into good graces with Tasty.
Or she might just do it like Scott said, to take V down.
Right,
To use,
right.
the inside knowledge as leverage against V.
Right.
Those are interesting theories.
You can't make any
I
comments.
know you can't make any.
I
Right,
don't
it's the
say
one who's
anything. I just
The
know
knows
it's interesting.
saw
the real
every episode.
answers.
I'm like still ready
It's
to go
interesting.
see the
What
next
I wanna know-
episode.
what I want to know is how the heck do you start fire with a single AA, AAA
Oh
battery?
yeah, the Litchfield
know.
lighter. I know.
Like, how
I
do
wanted
you
to try
do
that.
that?
Is that real?
I have no idea.
We should do experiments.
we should.
after
Our
the
science
show, like-
experiment. See if it actually works.
We're probably burning.
I
I mean,
What
it,
do
it
you
seems
do?
like
How
it
do you-
would work though, but when you think about, with batteries and a car battery. And
No.
no, but you would think that there could be a way to make it work.
Well, it triggers sparks.
because all they have is a battery and the metallic gum wrapper.
Yeah, but that's something like something just to get the spark. That's
Is
what
it
I'm saying.
connecting the
It's-
negative
Right,
side and the
but
positive
like-
side, and it causes some kind of
No, but I'm
energy
saying
to
that
like a
because
car-
it
like a
like
car
flames.
battery kind of thing?
There's when you have a car battery, there's no flames.
No, I know, but if you put it in the wrong
well,
spot, you would.
You know when you touch
It's not a
negative and
flame.
positive,
It's like a
it
little
sparks.
spark.
No, but
That's
it would.
what I'm saying.
But if you
It's
put it on
a
the wrong
spark.
side, you could. So I'm thinking
not
a battery.
flame,
But it could-
flames.
I know.
But yeah, remember the wrapper is
You guys,
foil
please
paper.
don't try it
so
at
maybe
home.
it
No,
burns.
don't try this at
Disclaimer.
home, kids.
Maybe it burns. It burns probably negative, positive.
Yeah, that's
foil
what
on
I'm
the
saying. I
paper,
think it would
burns.
work.
It makes sense.
It
makes
does.
sense. It does.
I think it
I
would
would
work.
like to try it,
We're
but
definitely gonna try it.
I'm very
Try it
clumsy,
live
so
on air.
I don't want to burn anyone's home
Don't
down.
try with a big battery because it might just explode instead
Yeah.
of just light.
Yeah.
But I think it was really funny when Tasty was walking around like sampling or soliciting, and then she like offers to Rosa. It's like, really? Because Rosa has dying from
Right.
cancer, and she's like in the window, like showing her the cigarette.
I thought Rosa was gonna be like, sure.
That's what
why
I thought too,
not?
because I was
I'm
like
already
thinking she was
dead.
selling it to her, wanting to give it to her because she's thinking I'm already dying. I might as well just go out, and enjoy myself.
Right.
I thought it was funny. I'm like, really? Like, really? She's gonna start smoking
Yeah.
a cigarette. She looked at her like, you dumbass. I'm not gonna take a cigarette from you.
Right.
But
No,
you
I'm
you
good.
even see like everyone is in it. You see the silent one that doesn't speak. What was her name?
Silent.
Okay, we'll call her Silent. She's even buying it. Everyone's buying
I'm
it.
surprised by that too. I think we were talking about this before. It's like, really? Like
Everybody
cigarettes
smokes?
still wants?
I guess when you have nothing else, like you don't have gum, you have no
Yeah.
vices. Like
I guess it
you
feels
might as
like
well,
a vice. Yeah.
Let's just smoke.
It
Why
feels
not?
decadent or whatever,
Right.
because it's something you can't have. And I don't know. It just surprised me, like that many people would be smoking. I'm like, I could see maybe if it was pot or something, like,
Right. You
Well,
would
maybe
think
they're getting ready for round 2
Right.
shipments.
that's the only fix that they can get.
yeah,
Because they are not allowed to do anything. Remember, there's no fixes of anything.
yeah.
Right.
There's no phones, no internet, well, there is TV, but it looks like a 1970s.
Yeah,
something
exactly, like
Zenith
basic
model.
cable.
Right. Something that's really like
It's not even basic
outdated.
cable. It's like ABC.
Yeah.
They don't even have Netflix.
They have PBS probably.
Yeah,
They can't even
I think
watch
they do
themselves.
because wasn't there last season? Wasn't Tasty or somebody was
Right.
watching something on PBS?
Or was it National Geographic?
National
National
Ge-
Geographic.
That's what
Wow.
it was.
Okay, well that's fancy. So
Well,
they
they
have
do have good
expanded
cable.
cable.
They got
have
good
better cable than me.
cable.
I don't think I get National Geographic.
That's funny.
That is.
Okay, so Caputo's chewing out the staff. And this disturbed me, and it probably disturbed everybody out there, because this is how I feel crap starts with the cops and the meter maids, parking enforcement officers, who claim that they don't have a ticket writing quota. Right? And every time you ask them, it's like, you guys have this quota. You're just going to give you this BS ticket or whatever, blah, 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 right? Everybody's been a victim of this for the most part. And now you see the behind the scenes of how the girls are now going to be inflicted with this whole 5-shot quota, and Fisher has a 6-shot quota.
Right.
Which again also is unfair because of his own
feelings for her, and it's like, really sucks. And I'm like, dude, can you be any more obvious that of what's going on? And then Fisher is just like so clueless to everything that's happening with her and Caputo, as far as Caputo is concerned.
Right.
He's just her boss.
Right.
But now this whole shot infliction is happening, and it just makes you like have this disdain for like law enforcement. You're like, wow.
And but here's the thing. I thought that this was probably the incorrect action for Caputo to take, because here's the thing. If you're at the bar and you see Jimmy chilling at the bar, like jamming to your music, you probably like should launch an investigation, like a serious, huge one.
Oh yeah.
Not send what's her name, Wanda, to like follow her. Like, that's serious. This chick got out.
Yeah.
And she's not the sanest.
Exactly.
Right. She's not the sanest. So you know something is going on. Like, if she can find a way to get out, then somebody pretty bright could probably find a way to get out. That to me should have, I guess, had more weight than to go, you know what, we got to enforce these shots every week. Like, to me, it seemed like she got out, yo. Like, she got out.
Well, he's just having issues because he's having emotional issues. He's he's trying to have some kind of personal life or relationship, or trying to spark something with Fisher, for one. Secondly, he has all this pressure. He's dealing with crap from Figueroa. He's always trying to make things better and make life better, but he always seems to hit like a glass ceiling with her. He can never get anything done without her so-called approval, and her always turning things down. And it's just he's frustrated. I think he's just at his wit's end. He doesn't know what to do. Now there's a deranged inmate that's out.
When I think that
not saying, he's like, what the
Who got there on a trolley on 27th Street?
And that's I'm not calling it deranged. I'm just speaking from his mind, like how he's thinking, like, oh my gosh, like how is she out? Like,
and I think that was part of his reason for her to have wanted to follow her, was because he kind of says, like, so we can maybe find where that is and plug it up.
And she's sick. She's not, she's getting older. It's
Alzheimer's probably.
Well, which is why people
Dementia.
don't really pay attention to her, and she might, it's probably how she found an exit or hole or something, because she's not being watched. So it has nothing to do with the rest of the inmates. It's
they don't pay attention to her
specifically. And I like how Bennett stands up to, for himself and for everyone else, saying, while the rest of you guys were at the bar celebrating, your band, and this one was like chasing magazines or whatever he was doing, he didn't really have any support or help to watch how many inmates are in there.
Yeah, plus he's in a room banging Daya.
Right.
So
he forgot to
nobody's doing anything. Of course, he's gonna sneak out somewhere.
Right.
He's on the peg, like knocking it out.
Yeah, but at least it's interesting to see him kind of stand up for himself in this episode. It's kind of the first time I feel like that he's really.
No, he's under pressure too.
He's taking out, at least standing up for himself, because he's been sort of the one that hasn't done.
What do you mean, like standing up for himself against the Latina chick?
No pun intended.
No, do you mean like to both? To both. Caputo and
to Caputo too.
I think he's just reached a glass ceiling where he's just had enough, and he's
crossed that line now. Like, all right, I can't put up with this anymore.
Well, I'm proud of him. Sorry, I'm falling off my seat. But I'm proud of him too, because I guess blackmail never pays, and so he's trying to be nice, because he thought, okay, this is just going to be a one-shot deal. I get everybody what they want, all my chicas, and they'll be fine. They're not gonna, say anything about me and Daya.
See, that's
whatever.
naive.
But that's
it is.
I think he thought that too.
Right,
exactly.
And you're dealing
with
women that are technically in high school when it comes to prison, because that's essentially what it is. They're gonna milk it for everything, and so I am proud that he stood up to them. But I do think putting Maritza in the shoe was probably a bit
too extreme. Yeah.
But I think he needed that because as Diablo's, she was Diablo. She's like, we didn't.
Diabolita. That's what I like to call her. That's not her
he
name,
had
though.
it in him to actually do that and go that far. So I think if he didn't do it, people were always going to test
step on him.
limits.
Yeah, right. So I think that did kind of put them in their place. Like, whoa, you didn't expect him to do that.
I didn't like Daya's approach to the whole situation, because it's like, really, Like, this is your baby daddy, and you're not siding with him. You're siding over someone who is your sister just in jail because you guys are, both Latina. It just...
No, I mean,
Well,
you gotta
I think
also
it's
think from
different
his
than that.
standpoint, he has to, she has to exist in there.
Right.
You know, he
Yeah,
goes home
right.
every day. He just
Right.
works there.
And he has got the
politics are
power
completely
and-
different. So she
Right.
has to like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, I don't like her, but she's my sister in here. Like, this is how we roll. Like, we have to have
Right.
each other's back. And
Well, then
you
she
acting
should
like
have put
this
a
is gonna.
stop to it. Because she's not asking for anything. Everyone else is asking for something. So
Right.
it's like, instead of her using the connections she has for herself to get her vitamins, to get her, whatever she needs for the baby, everyone else is
prenatal care.
getting,
Right, but I think
iPods.
I think she didn't want them to say anything either. So it's kind of like not only are they blackmailing him, they're blackmailing her as well. So just so she can have control of the situation, I guess she's like, okay, ask him for whatever, no big deal. But I do think she probably should have stepped up and said, okay, guys, that's enough. Stop asking him for stuff. Like,
Well, yeah, that's what he should have told her. Was like, look, you better get your friends under control.
right.
Because this is not gonna keep cracking like this. Somebody's gonna end it. He should have said something. He just snapped though, because he's like the nice guy.
Right.
And then all of a sudden,
Well,
he snaps
because you have someone who's threatening you and telling you, oh, maybe you shouldn't have done it with Daya.
Which is
and
true.
Yeah.
It's true.
It's
but,
true, but still, it's a
she's
threat.
not there to, no one's there to defend him except him. So he had to take action at
He
the
should
moment.
have strapped up, just like she said.
Right,
Yeah.
like she
When
said.
she flexed on him, she was like, "I didn't tell you to not use no
Right.
condom. Like you the one that went to I'll pull out. Blah 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 blah." It was that's true. She must have some pretty good stuff because mustache on that. Like, okay, Daya, she's pregnant now. Okay, so let's talk about.
Can't deal with you.
Let's talk about Polly and Larry's weak punk selves.
That's just
Which
disturbing.
we called it though.
We knew
Yeah,
it was going to happen. I was
knew
just
it was
waiting
gonna
for which
happen.
episode.
Right.
So episode 7,
Yes,
finally.
yes, it happened. It went down. I'm just.
I'm disgusted.
That's
I don't know. She
disturbing.
comes over,
Especially
and
with her blocked milk duct.
her,
Oh, I
her
know.
memory
Stay to
does
the
look
right.
To the right,
what
yeah.
the-
I'm like, oh.
and the corny porn music that actually
Yes, I
started
was
playing,
thinking that too.
I'm like,
I had that written down. I was like, the
really?
cheesy music.
I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so like
So
1973
bad.
porn music playing.
So bad with that music.
It was like, what the heck is this?
I know, this is terrible.
Oh, just shut up and fuck me. Like really?
gosh.
Like and the husband's back now.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like that's even worse because, like, okay, if this was going to happen
It should have happened
before he came back.
Right? Like why?
He's back. Your husband's back
now?
home now.
Well, now there's someone to watch the kid while
Yeah.
she leaves the house. So.
And I also think too that maybe he's back and it's even more friction now that he's back and he's been gone, and so now it just
She probably feels more weird about
Neglected.
it.
more
And-
separated than ever with him back.
And then of course Pete comes over
With his
God.
beard.
to with the 6-pack to Vin, to Larry. Like
Oh God, that was...
I can't wait for Piper to find out about this. It's going to be one interesting story.
Right.
And how both of them have to
if Piper ever
tell
does
her.
find out.
She will find out.
Yeah.
She's going to find out.
Find out, of course.
Because then that would
I
be
feel like
stupid to write this in and then she
Right,
never finds
no
out.
consequences to it. Yeah,
I know, there's no
There's
consequence.
gonna be, yeah,
Well,
of course.
they're trying to level them to get, to the same level kind of in their personal off times, what they do.
I definitely want to know what you
I
guys
love it.
think
Their personal
about
off
this
time,
situation out
what they're
there.
doing for their hobbies.
Right.
You guys definitely have to make comments on this
Yes.
situation, and let us know what you guys think about this whole. I've read a few comments that were a little bit, on both sides of the fence, surprisingly. So, some people were like, well, what do you expect? Pete takes off and, he's out of town.
Right.
And he just has a baby and then he leaves. Like, well, how do you expect her to feel and act and blah, blah, blah. And Larry was there the whole time for
Right,
her.
and it's safe because they know each other
Right.
very well. And
They
again,
knew
that
each
goes
other
back
before
to that,
they were dating
right,
the other
before the other,
person.
right. So there's again, it's really hard when you don't have this moral like, oh, this is such a easy line and crossing the line there.
Right.
And it's just
Now
a
I
lot
know
more
why they're all
vague.
friends.
They all swap.
Right. So gross.
They share.
Whose baby is it? Like,
Yeah, right.
gosh.
Right.
There you go. That's for season 3 right there.
What about this newsletter, though?
This newsletter thing is a situation is interesting.
I
Piper-
like it.
Yeah,
I
it
do
is.
too.
I do too.
Piper
Growing
meets
way
with,
bigger than she ever thought it would be.
Right.
she meets with the reporter again, and they've kind of figured out obviously figured out that Figueroa has a lot to do with whatever is going on, and he kind of commissioning Piper to
be his spy.
Yeah, to get some information on this whole scenario. But I think I'm not sure. I think Piper's up to the task. I think she wasn't up to the task, and then all of a sudden she's decided to what else do you have to do in this?
Right, to fully embrace it.
Right. So next thing you know, she's investigating, and now there's a newsletter and
the Big House Bugle.
Which is hilarious.
Well, I think
It is.
Caputo opened the doors for her when he said, he wants everyone to know, administration side. So him opening the door for her, now she's able to ask questions, personal lives. And
what did she say?
kind of
Caputo guards, they're just like us, or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
And then she's like, no, they're people too, or something like that.
So she's able to
the human side.
tap into people's personal lifestyles and maybe ask indirect questions
Right,
about
right.
Fig and what she does, and I don't know, find out her schedule, go inside her office,
Right, which makes
get
sense.
the blueprints.
Right, and I like Daya's comics. I think they're
They're funny.
yes,
Yeah.
and the fact that he likes the what was it, the
The
walrus,
walrus,
The
which is really funny. He comes to
Yeah.
check
Right.
in, and he's like, "The walrus is really funny." It's
Yeah.
like, of course you would think
Right?
the walrus is really funny.
Right.
Everybody else is clowning you.
Yeah.
Hello, Healy, wake up, buddy, old pal over
I
there.
love that.
And I was surprised though at Flocka. I think she's a little smarter than I thought.
Yeah?
She
for
was
her to
acting
be
like a real
correcting
dummy
Morello.
at the interview fair thing, though, the job competition. She acted like she didn't where was this smart girl when?
No, I don't think it's that she's okay, she's not stupid, but she's not smart either. It's like she has strengths, and I think
Right, but you can be
know,
smart in
being
different areas. Than,
Right. Like in yearbook staff,
Right.
she had to edit, so she knows how to spell.
knows her
But I
grammar,
think
she
most
knows-
of it
Right.
is an image that she's playing, just like the rest of the inmates, for everyone else around them.
Yeah.
Oh, I think she's really not bright.
No,
No, I think she's bright. I think she's smart, but again, there's different smarts. You have the people, that was her strength is grammar and spelling and things like that. When you think about maybe she's not as good at the job interview or, again, but I think she's smarter than what I thought she was at the beginning too.
I think she probably has a few book smarts. A
Yeah.
few.
Well, that's what I mean,
but I
book
don't
smart.
think common sense smarts, probably not.
Right, and that happens a lot. You see very smart people that have zero common sense.
Right.
and
Right.
Vice versa.
Yes, we got to talk about this furlough with Piper as well,
Yes.
because her grandmother's sick.
and it's so sad because what's the lady's name that escaped?
Jimmy.
Jimmy.
Phyllis Stiller.
It's they're putting
Why
them.
do they call her Jimmy, by the way?
I know.
Where
I
you
kept
get
getting
Jimmy
confused
from?
by that too, because Jimmy, it's a guy's name.
In
So I
fact,
was,
she's constantly around Piper, reminding her of her grandma.
Right.
And it's
know.
so symbolical, calling her. What does she call Piper?
Roberta.
Roberta.
Mhm.
And she's so caring and helping her, and she really truly seems like she wants to help her, and
Right.
she's not annoyed by her when she does approach her.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's really nice to see that.
It is, but also very, very sad to see at the same time. Again, when we kind of touched on the last episode about
Yeah.
that, about
How she jumps off the stage.
Yeah,
and she's
just-
saying things I can't believe they can't not get her.
the healthcare. Again, it's like
But what kind of healthcare would you give her?
I'm not saying
needs to
she
be
needs to
in
be
a
in a
facility.
facility,
Right,
not in
right.
is what I'm saying. She has to
Yeah.
needs to leave there, and they need to keep her in a facility.
Right. I do believe that.
medical
That's
care.
surrounding proof with foam and stuff, so she doesn't hurt herself.
Just so
Right.
she's getting the
You know.
medication because she's obviously needs some medication. She needs things to keep her in a probably the facility is better protected than this prison apparently. Not
Yeah.
letting her get out. So the whole thing was sad, and then when she was like, "Oh, she still thinks Lyndon Johnson is president," and all this
Right.
stuff. I was like, "That's really, really, really sad just to see that." And again, it brings up the stuff about what is the healthcare like there, and are people, and I think that happens across the age spectrum of people going to prison instead of getting the mental health that they need instead.
Right.
Well, we can see that obviously the healthcare is really, 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 really sucks. They touched upon it last season when Sophia couldn't get any hormone pills.
Yeah.
They've touched upon it again this season with the nun seeking cornbread. She got a shot for it from Fisher, which really sucks.
diabetes,
So
yeah.
now you see how the system is abusing. It's already abusive, and they're making it worse. By now they have this shot quota, and she's always let the nun take the cornbread before.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
she knows, she's like, yeah, I have a blood sugar
Yeah.
thing. Like, why would she sneak some cornbread? Like,
And why does it matter?
Right, what difference does it make?
What
She's
is
an
it?
older lady. She's a nun, and she's like, I
What are you
need
gonna use
that
the
for blood
cornbread as a
sugar.
weapon? You
Right.
know, to wait for it to like harden out. And you're like, I'm gonna
Exactly.
throw it in like a rock.
Like, so what are you gonna do? Like, obviously, she needs it because
Yeah.
of what she says she needs it
Right,
for.
right.
So
And
all
then-
of a sudden, she's like, I'm gonna write you a shot. Like, instead of even saying, well, they're being tough on us right now, so just I can't let you take it this time. Just maybe next time or something until things cool down. But she's just like, no,
Or
I'm
do
sorry,
it
I
in
gotta
a
write
way
you a
where I
shot.
don't see you, and
Right. But I think that also begs to ask the question, of course, we see at the end, Jimmy gets a compassionate release, which I didn't think was real.
Passionate
Is that
release.
Yeah,
It
is really happen?
it sounded
And
like a
there's-
real title, like
it
a
is.
real.
It's an early compassionate release,
Yeah.
and it happens most of the time when they don't want to pay for medical expenses.
Right, 'cause they're getting
so,
too expensive.
For instance, there has been stories and cases going on. If you have people that are in jail for medical conditions that exceed, an amount, a cost that they can't pay, they give
they
them
won't pay.
early compassion release because they don't want to take
Right.
the.
Right, and because they're old and they're sick, so they're not obviously going to be able to go out and
And
commit
it's not
crimes
always
anymore.
old.
They
No,
can.
but I mean, if you're sick,
Yeah.
if you're sick or whatever, and a lot of times they would release them to family members, but in this case, we learned she doesn't have any family members that
So
are
they
able to take
literally
her.
just drop her off at a bus stop?
It's sort of like
That's so
what they do here,
horrible.
with
That's
Skid
real,
Row
too.
about
Right,
you have a lot of
exactly.
issues where
They have
mental
medical-
health patients and people from hospitals are just dropped off and dumped. It's sort of the same type
That's
of.
Yeah.
horrible.
It is. It was awful.
And they have pre-existing conditions, so they can't get health care when they
Right.
get out, or it's just their treatments are too expensive. So what did they do? Commit a crime to go back in jail so they could get the treatments again.
Right. That's so
But
sad.
in this case, for older people or mentally ill people, yeah, they're.
But there's nothing you can do, they...
Right.
But what they did, of course, is completely wrong. I mean, see, that in itself to me is like a crime right there. You just
Right.
let someone go off and.
They're
Yeah.
committing all kind of crimes.
They
just
are. I
morally,
mean, that's an
ethically.
absolutely horrible thing, but it's a good thing that it brings attention to a very serious situation
Right.
that's not often touched upon because they even, they talk about it. It's like nobody cares about the old people. Nobody cares about, a lot of people, prisoners. Like, so those are things that don't make the headlines because nobody cares about that kind of
Right.
stuff.
Well, it's just funny we're talking about this because on the flip side, now you have Figueroa having a drink with her husband, and they're on this little campaign trail or whatever, blah blah blah.
Yeah, in the hotel room. Mhm.
Right.
He's talking about
And-
old people.
Right, and they realize that somebody, their opponent, just got $1.5 million campaign surplus into their campaign, to the budget, and that hits them hard because she's obviously been funneling funds from what is supposed to go to the prison into her husband's campaign for the kind of change and reform that the money was supposed to be for to begin with.
Right.
Right.
Which is like the irony behind this whole thing.
Hilarious.
So
And if you didn't know anything behind, her backstory and what she's done, you would actually think she cares about,
how she was talking to her husband, you would think she cares.
Or the way, exactly.
Ironic.
And also, thinking she's taking the money out for herself, but it's actually for his campaign,
Right.
like she's not padding for herself. But I thought it was hilarious when you said geezer's vote. And it's like, and there you are on the
Right.
flip side, not taking care of the geezer in your
Geezers.
own
Right.
prison system. And this
it's
kind of stuff
talking
is
about
happening.
how people think small,
Yeah.
and you need to talk about the system, change
Right.
that, and it's like, really?
Right.
And hello,
So
did we
sad.
pick up on the...
Yes.
The,
I've had that thought since
Yeah.
last season that something must be going on between them, and I actually thought it was an arranged kind of partnership at first.
yeah,
for
when he
an
said, "I need
image.
you," of course you need her.
Of
'cause
course.
you need her for
Yeah.
the
Because
Right.
you need it for the money and
Right.
everything.
And you,
But
that's
he's
the image
using
to
her
present.
as
Oh,
his, what
yeah.
is it? Is it a beard?
Beard. Yeah. The whole thing was great. I just love when the campaign aid comes in. I was
like,
like,
I really
I
liked
love
your
your speech. It was so
speech.
powerful. I was like,
he looks at
oh, right
him.
then I'm like, okay.
Longing looks.
And then of course they make it very obvious later on when she says they're,
Not
having
having sex,
nothing.
they
She's
can't
like,
have a
then we can
kid.
move
Yeah.
upstate and have a baby. So
Yeah.
you actually would have to have sex
Yeah.
with me in order to do that. You're like, whoa.
And it makes you
Okay.
look at her in a different like she
It
is
did.
not that
As
strong.
evil.
No.
And,
So
and
she
she's not
is-
as
and
evil
also
as
is
you
not
make
as
her to
evil.
be. Right. You
Well,
kind of feel sorry for her.
And
do.
I do, which is what I was gonna say. She uses her she exercises her power at
Right.
work because she doesn't really have it at home.
Right.
Right.
She's trying to please, and then at work she takes all her frustration and anger out at everyone else.
And she has all the power and yeah.
Well,
Also,
she's
you
fighting
know,
for the greater good. That's what her helping her husband become a state senator is fighting for the greater good. So it's like you have these little small immoral acts that you have to. It's like telling a little white lie in order for you to have the greater good of the outcome, which is what they're trying to justify it as. And that was the interesting part of seeing the other side of what's going on and where these funds are being, taken to and being funneled to. Even though she has a new Mercedes, I think they mentioned that in the episode, right? She has a new luxury car, which she could have gotten from being the sister woman.
Whatever.
No.
Okay, no one's buying it. So it's supposed to be for the greater good of what she's doing, but we see how there's like this vicious cycle in the system of things not being handled, and then the money that's supposed to be going to the care of the inmates or whatever to make their lives better, like how it's supposed to be done, is actually going to a campaign to put somebody in office who's supposed to do the exact same thing.
Right. It's very, very ironic.
It's funny.
But I do think, again, but what the show does such a great job at doing is being able to show these characters, and again, not just this, oh, they're evil, good. You see they have good sides, you see they have bad sides, and it goes for the prisoners too. And I think the show does an excellent job about kind of giving these characters multi-dimensional sides. So you see like Fig, on one side you're like, oh, she's a bitch, she's, stealing this money, but then on the other side you see that she has her own human things and she's supposedly doing things for good, and you have a side where you almost feel sorry for her. And it's the same thing with Caputo. Now you're like, you see this other side of him where he cares, and again with the prisoners, and I think they do a great job about giving these multiple dimensional and range and showing that they're not all bad. And
I still don't feel sorry for her. I think she needs to be in jail.
I agree, but it's just like all the other characters. You see all their good sides too. They're not all these evil, terrible people. They just make mistakes. And
I think that she needs to be put in a room with Nikki for Nikki to analyze her.
She can do that quickly, I'm sure.
Nikki and Fig.
Right. But
go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I think that it's I like her a little more. I don't like her that much, but I like her a little more than I liked her before, only because now I see like I see a softer side, and I kind of feel bad. Like, okay, you have this husband who's clearly using you. Yeah, he doesn't love you for real.
You're not
he doesn't
getting
really
affection from him.
He doesn't want to be with you, and he is on the DL, the down low. And you have no clue about it, and that to me is like, oh, poor lady. Like, she really does want to have a happy family. She really does
steal
that.
the government's money and have a happy family.
Right. I'm not saying it's okay.
No, it's just like the other women that are in prison. Yeah.
Right. So it gives you the other side. Like, whoa, what the saying that prison guards just like us, like they're like us too. It's true. It's true. They're committing crimes. They're just not getting caught.
Yeah.
Exactly. For now.
For now.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we wrap up, is there anything? Oh, this is the one thing I want to add, and I want to ask everybody out there, and you guys as well, of course. Do we really care about Scott and Wanda's story?
Yeah.
I didn't. I mean, maybe down the line, but
Panda,
I know.
So I'll take that as a no.
I think it's just because we don't know much about them, really. We're starting to know little things here and there with Wanda because she asks people for things and she's talking about school. So we're starting to learn a little bit more about her. But I think
maybe we'll get a backstory because she's so bitter about how she treats the inmates and the girls. But
you hear these sides of her asking some of the inmates and other people for things about jobs and houses, and so we're starting to learn a little bit more about her. But I think until we know more about both of them, it's hard to really care. Right. We need more dimensions with them as well, because now we're only kind of seeing them in one dimension.
Well, one thing I liked, I wish they would have gone into her character a little bit more when she was asking at the job fair, what would somebody wear at an interview that per se was going to be interviewing for a medical something position at blah, 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 hypothetically speaking. Like, she was obviously asking for herself. So obviously this job is just a means to an end for right now. She's trying to get out of here.
Sure.
So that says that the guards are probably miserable and don't really enjoy their job.
Well,
I think that's pretty obvious.
One, what's her name? Yeah. Oh my God, I forgot her name.
Which one?
The younger guard.
Fisher.
Fisher. She loves what she does.
Investigating. And speaking of Fisher and her investigations, of course, we find out that she finds out Daya's pregnant because of the phone call and all the eavesdropping. Yeah. So I wonder what's going to happen with that. I feel like she might say something.
We shall see.
We shall see. Okay. Well, until next time, where can we find you guys?
As always, you can hit me up on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Meg Scoop, like scoop of ice cream.
You guys can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Real Emma K.
And you can find me on Twitter at SMAN80, SMAN80, and here for True Blood and for Defiance after shows as well.
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Club Thaddeus and GQJedi.com. And you can also find me here on Monday at 7 p.m. for Starz Original Series Power, starring Omari Hardwick. Until next time, After Buzzers.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV Network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.